Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Madam Rozia. Today, my team and I would like to present regarding one of the financial institutions that have been in New York, the Bear Stearns. Yes, the Bear Stearns is financial institutions that we want to present as this financial institution had a serious problem before. But first, let me present to you the profile and the histories of this company. The Bear Stearns is the holding company owned by Bear Stearns and Co. and was established as a successor to Bear Stearns and Co. and subsidiaries on October 29, 1985. The company was founded before on May 1, 1923 and became the global investment bank with many branches such as Singapore, Hong Kong, Chicago, and many more. Before their company had a serious problem, their core business was capital market, investment banking, wealth management, and also global clearing service. The Bear Stearns is one of the biggest investment bank in the world and also widely regarded members of the investment bank Wall Street in the early 2000s. However, their company need to end their operations in March 2008 due to the global financial crisis or recession and due to the subprime mortgage crisis.
Hi, my name is Manafal Shakila and we will continue our presentation with media stories on financial problems faced by Bear Stearns. Since the crisis happened between JP Morgan and Bear Stearns in 2008, a lot of media has portrayed the situation happened between them. One of the news is from ABC News by John Wagner and David J. Lynch on 20 March 2008 with the headline of Red Flags in Bear Stearns Collapse. In this news, they conclude the situation of how Bear Stearns was going to collapse. And they wrote the sign of Bear Stearns is going to collapse when they agreed to sell their share $2 per share on Sunday. It is to make the Fed rebound the housing sector and resurgence in the economy. But unfortunately, Bear Stearns failed. The economy collapsed and the investor did not believe that they could repay all the loans. And even worse, the bank could not longer stand behind the deals it had with other financial institutions. In the end, it affected the other banks such as in crisis of subprime mortgage. So the second news is from The Guardian by Andrew Clark in May 2008 entitled End of the Road for Bear Stearns. This news tells about the condition of Bear Stearns in the day it collapsed. A special meeting was conducted in Bear Stearns headquarters in New York to inform that they are officially under JP Morgan. JP Morgan buying the business for $2.2 billion in this supported by Federal Reserve. According to the news also, Jimmy Chin, the president of Bear Stearns, was willing to accept best condition, and the mood for that day was solemn and all the employees had to lose their job.
Issues that triggered the serious problem of these financial institutions is securitizing mortgage. When the prices in the United States is increased, the lenders had offering a mortgage to the borrowers, and for those who had a bad credits are restricted from receiving the mortgage. With no concern on how dangerous they will turn out to be, the Bear Stearns and other investment banks are actively engaged in marketing structures based on the subprime mortgage. However, in the middle 2006, the housing price in the United States is starting to decline quickly, and the subprime borrowers are beginning to defaulting on their mortgage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nawfal bint Mazhar. Okay, let's start about how the financial institution react to Bear Stearns company. Several of Bear Stearns company trading partners agreed to avoid trading with the bank on 10 March 2008. At the time, that placed Bear in a loan when it has just $18 billion. in cash reserve. After that, Bear mortgage-backed securities were downgraded to B and C levels by Moody's. After that, CEO of Bear Stearns realized that the company did not have enough cash to set up a business. It ran an overnight loan to the company bank, which is JP Morgan Chase. The overnight loan is $25 billion. The CEO of Chase, Jamie Dimon, wanted more time to study Bear's work before he dedicated himself. He requested the bank New York Federal Reserve Bank to secure the loans so that Bear Stearns company could operate on Friday. On March 14, the Federal Reserve Bank held an emergency meeting to approve the loan so Chase company could pass it to Bear Stearns company. The Federal Reserve Bank used its lending power under Section 13(3) to bail out Bear. It requires the Federal Reserve Bank to lend any private company with adequate money, but it cannot purchase its shares or pledge its properties. The Federal Reserve Bank used this authority for the last time to rescue financial institutions during the Great Depression. The Federal Reserve, along with the JP Morgan, was bailed out to provide Bear Stearns with $29.5 billion. The company could not be saved and the subsequent in the company was sold to JP Morgan Chase for $10 per share, which the price is lower or below its pre-crisis. In the investment banking sector, its sales to JP Morgan Chase was the start of bloodletting, not the end. JP Morgan Chase used the name Bear Stearns in January 2010. In March, the multinational investment firm Bear Stearns, a cornerstone of Wall Street date 1923, failed and was purchased by JP Morgan Chase for pennies on the dollar. The Federal Reserve Bank has decreased the financial cost to the discount window by such a half a percentage point to 3.25% in the third section aimed at helping banking institutions and RIF. The step amounted to a sweeping and unexpected attempt by Federal Reserve to rescue the national capital market from what officials believe could be a chain default answer. Bear Stearns company debt began to panic on Wall Street.
So the main causes of problem faced by Bear Stearns started in May 2007 when the fund owned by the mortgage-backed securities started losing value as the housing price began falling. That was the beginning of the subprime mortgage crisis. In this case, two Bear Stearns hedge fund plummet. The types of fund are high-grade structured credit strategy and the enhanced leverage funds. Traders are beginning to redeem their asset in the investment to avoid losses. In order to avoid losses of the company, Bear Stearns froze the redemption of the fund by the investor and lent one of the fund loan worth $1.6 billion with the guarantee of $4 billion from the Bank of America. Unfortunately, Bank of America sold its holding and caused the 2H to the bankruptcy. To avoid losses again, Bear Stearns involved in a partnership with CITC Securities of China to get more cash, but there are rumors regarding the Bear Stearns president James King did not focus on saving the company, and the rumors give back reputation to the bears. So the effect of those causes, Bear Stearns lost $859 million for the fourth quarter and announced a $2 billion of its subprime mortgage holdings. Moody's downgraded its debt from A1 to A2 and the Bear's mortgage-backed security MBS to C level, which is junk bond status. All the investors pull out all the deposit and investment. So that is the cause why Bear Stearns collapse on 2008.
Hi, my name is Harisa Nabila binti Isham, and as for the strategies adopted by Bear Stearns put up highly illiquid securities as collateral. It is because more often than not, the market on which these shares were exchanged did not even exist at all. And Bear Stearns counterparties in the repo trades has begun to demand more collateral, even though the collateral itself is toxic. And this margin calls for a dramatic decrease in the available cash on hand for funding operations, has led to a run on the bank in the repo market, starting with the exercise of circumspect judgment. This is to enter the disintermediation of CDS with Bear Stearns on behalf of its clients. And every other major bank followed suit, and also the Bear Stearns found himself in an extreme position. And it is possible that several of Bear Stearns' clients would have pulled out because the assets from Bear Stearns' account have been moved to those assets to other prime brokers for fear if Bear Stearns has declared bankruptcy, which is a freeze may be imposed on all assets owned by all Bear Stearns facilities, and those constitution immune from bankruptcy in the parent company. And in prime brokerage, the top 10% of clients' account for 90% of net revenue will be large clients with multiple prime brokers, and they will move their assets quickly. And as a matter of fact, Bob Sloan advised his clients about the hedge funds. This is to withdraw their money from Bear Stearns prime brokerage, which allegedly resulted in 25 billion being transferred. And in fact, it is the case that the most valued customer that Bear Stearns has primed has transferred their assets out of the bank, and it will be proved to be an extremely difficult task for JP Morgan itself and Bear Stearns to win back these customers, because the company is very sticky with the high cost associated with it. And for these reasons, it seems likely that the top of line of the division will be hit by 50% in fiscal 2008. And the main goal of JP Morgan must retain as many of the top broker clients as possible. Okay, now moving forward, JP Morgan will have to decide whether or not to roll in the division. And the Worldwide Security Service is to maintain the clearing service as an autonomous unit. Whatever options they choose to do, they will need to inject capital into the unit if they hope to have the first tier of prime brokerage. And at this point, they should strive to be a leader in the field and targeting clients with assets beyond 200 million. And the problem with staying in the second and third phases is that a new independent company, which is Merlin Securities, it has begun to deliver with quality services from a technologically advanced platform at a very low cost. And the technology used by Bear Stearns prime brokerage is outmoded, and it prevents from competing with first-tier brokers such as Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. This is advanced platforms that allow customers access to dark pools. If JP Morgan effectively employs capital to develop large-scale technology for the first brokerage unit, then there will be a distinct possibility that they will reap significant in 5 to 10 years onwards. As for recommendation, apparently there would be a large lag between the duration that the merger is finally completed and also the remaining employees of Bear Stearns will be integrated effectively in the new business. And so far, we have seen a number of workers, particularly within the investment bank, have find other jobs in the financial service. It will be very important to quickly recognize the best talent at the Bear Stearns and also be actively encourage those individuals to remain with the firm at least until the organization can decide which divisions at Bear Stearns will be reduced. And on the basis of above analysis, as for recommendation due to the crisis between JP Morgan Chase and Bear Stearns, the asset management or PCS division at Bear Stearns has to prove to be lagging in the field and cost the company billions when its hedge funds fail. And in addition, JP Morgan has one of the strongest asset management divisions in the world. It would be pointless to overlap to keep the division in its entirety. Instead, employees at Bear Stearns with the most profitable partnerships can become part of the JP Morgan Asset Management Division with what remains of their client base. And another recommendation is, we all know that JP Morgan's greatest gain from this deal is the profits of the Bear Stearns GCS division with its prime brokerage, and effective integration of this division should be the primary goal. And emphasize on JP Morgan senior management for the next 12 to 18 months. We believe it is highly prudent to offer cash incentive to clients to return the assets to Bear Stearns, which is in recognizing that JP Morgan Chase has fully face-to-face credit is behind the accounts. Okay, and moving forward, prime brokerage also will face greater competition as more banks attempt to penetrate this highly or profitable sector, and in developing the innovative technology solutions that can completely support the most demanding clients would make it possible for the division to lead clients with broad asset bases and also to trade regularly. And in the end, the successful growth of the division would be of greater significance than the acquisition itself. So the core competencies of Bear Stearns have always been trading, particularly on fixed income. And retaining companies that reliably drive up and down growth is desirable, and in the end, it will be accretive. Obviously, the whole Bear Stearns trading platform needs to be subjected to the kind of strict and sophisticated risk management process that are the cornerstone of a healthy balance sheet and financial performance. That's all from us. Thank you.